So, what are the chances that a psychology graduate from Poland is speaking at the TEDx event organized by the Institute of Chemical Technology in Mumbai? And I came to you in this morning from Delhi. So, what are the chances? I'm still asking myself. But actually, I'm here to tell you my story of how I came to discover India. And in fact, in return, in India, I discovered myself. So when it comes to the career, my choices I always try to make with my brain, but also with my heart. And studying psychology was something out of my passion. And then I fell for the trap, like many of us. I had to prove my parents wrong that after studying psychology, I can still earn some money. So I found this amazing job in a multinational corporation. It was a gas and oil company. A nice salary, fantastic people, challenging environment, everything that young graduate was dreaming of. It was this beautiful building with a gas station just below our office. And one of my responsibility was to do the trainings for the people. And one of my very, very senior colleague who was doing trainings about safety in oil and gas, it's very important. He was always starting the training saying something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting on a big ticking bomb. Because the gas station was just below us. And as funny as I found it, and a little bit ironic, something inside me felt, oh my gosh. And that was around the time in 2010 when there was this huge industrial crisis, destruction in the sea, in the Gulf of Mexico, where almost 5 million barrels of oil was spilled into the water. Mass destruction for the ecosystem and environment over there. So again, something did not feel right about what I was doing, but I wasn't sure what that was. And then eventually I changed my job. I was into another industry, fast fashion, even much better money, better title and all of that. Something like, oh, I almost won the lottery. Now I proved my parents wrong. Yeah, I was there. And I had two bosses, one local, one global. And with the global boss one day, we were sitting somewhere in the showroom, next to the showroom, somewhere in the south of Poland. We were discussing the next steps. And he told me, and also, I would like you to wear our branded clothes whenever you go to the showroom to work with our workers. And I felt, I don't even like wearing those clothes. So what am I doing here? Of course, I didn't tell him that, but I felt like, okay, they look nice in the showroom, but I don't feel comfortable with them. And again, I felt this something inside me that was not feeling okay with what I was doing at that time. With all those confusions, I decided to quit my job. I left Poland. I started traveling. I went to Greece. I was traveling and working there. And eventually, after some time, I came here to India. So one of the reasons why I came to India was this mystical idea about this land, something that such a famous people like Steve Jobs or the Beatles or even Elizabeth Gilbert in her very famous Eat, Pray, Love were talking about. And I wanted to discover this mystical, magical thing as well. And yes, there was a second reason. There was a man behind it, to whom today I'm eventually married. And together with Kamal, we have started organization Human Circle. And one day, we were both in a similar situation. So both of us were not working anymore for the corporates, searching for this new thing we're gonna do about our lives, about careers. And we sat down and asked ourselves this important question. What is that we really care about? What does that make us angry about the society around us? Something that Gandhi put so famously. What is the change we want to see in this world? And now that I was also a new citizen to this country, I wanted somehow to connect, to contribute to what was happening here in India. So after discussing, there was something very, very close to our heart. And that was the fact that a lot of people are not doing what they love. They choose these studies not because of their passion, it's because of some guidance of previous generations. They are doing things against themselves, of ending up in the jobs that they don't enjoy, complaining all the time. Probably many of you know such people who are just waiting for the Friday to, to come, for the weekend to finally enjoy their life. And when we ask them, why is that? You don't change that situation. Oh, you know, I already have children, I have a loan, and it's not so easy. So what we decided to do, we created a challenge. We took those young people who still do not have children or a loan, and it's probably much easier for them to make such decisions, and we put them on the 2-day simulation. There was a team building and solving challenge, and it started more or less like this. It was in 2014 in IIT Delhi, and the Young India Challenge started with a challenge for us as organizers, because the professor refused us a seminar room, and this is how we started in a loan of IIT Delhi with people who didn't know us, somewhere around like that. But then eventually, we've done it, and the people who attended that batch, a lot of people from that community, today they are doing amazing things. So someone who was supposed to be a CA is now an actress. People became bloggers, photographers, entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and many other. But still, something was bothering us inside. Is that all? Is it only about following your passion, about doing what you love? What if I'm passionate, let's say about chemistry, and I'm working for the pharmaceutical company, and there is this pressure from the company that I need to keep inventing the new drugs all the time, which have probably more side effects than they're curing what they were supposed to cure at the first place. Is there a point of doing something like this? And if someone is super amazingly talented in marketing and is using his talent for making people buy more and more products that we actually don't need, is there a point in doing this? So this thought inside of me was still there, like, what that was. And then finally I figured it out. And I was able to figure it out only here, thanks to the fact that I'm in India. And probably it's because of the scale of this country, 1.3 billion people. Every seventh person on the earth is Indian. So maybe it's because of the big cities. Like I stay in Delhi and Mumbai as well, almost 20 million people. Life is happening on the street, so we can see it much easier. And what can we see? Something that I was not seeing in my own country. For instance, if in my own country I have a wrapping paper and I want to do something about it, I just look around, okay, there is a dustbin, I just put it there, someone takes it, there is a big car, takes this whole garbage far away, outside the city, so I don't even know what is happening with it. But let's say in India, you have a plastic bottle and you are searching for the dustbin. Okay, here, right? Probably you've also seen people doing this, especially maybe throwing from the windows of their cars or something like that. So I saw that. Once we were traveling to the mountains and we did not even leave Delhi, and I saw, oh, you have already those hills over here inside the city. And we came closer and I see these are not hills. These are just big dumps of garbage just outside. And the other things are air pollution, the water which is not clean anymore, and then the poverty and the education and the gender equality, so many different things that I noticed only here in India because of the scale of the problem, something I would not see in my own country before. So then we thought, okay, so what are we going to do about it? And we said that instead of only doing what you love, you should connect it to those amazingly huge issues that we are facing these days. And those issues are already very well defined by United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 of them, and amongst of them, there are no poverty, zero hunger, gender equality, quality education, sustainable cities, responsible consumption, all of these issues which are defined, and India is one of the biggest contributor to those goals. So again, we took people, we put them into a simulation for today's to see what's going to happen now. And in the boardrooms where they were presenting their ideas to the juries, we saw so many fantastic ideas because the knowledge is already here in this country. So many passionate people who were doing brilliant things. And those things they took outside the boarding rooms and they were doing it in their own lives. So for instance, there was a team who's still working on e-waste, or there were people who were blogging, but now they were blogging about responsible travel, tourism. So if you go, for instance, for trekking and you are carrying with you all the garbage, where do you leave them? Normally over there. But what does it do for the local animals, for the local people? So all of those issues start happening somehow. And I was able to figure out this feeling inside of me that was not letting me to do those first two jobs only because I came to India and I realized these problems that we are actually facing globally today. And this feeling inside of me was the guilt that I'm not doing enough for my country or for my society or for the world. Those two companies that I was working for are one of the biggest, they have a very direct contribution to what we call today as global warming and pollution in general. Only thanks to the fact that I was able to connect it in India, I realized this. And I realized also that we do not have the luxury of talking about careers in such a fancy way. We need to do something about those big challenges. And I must tell you that not everything is so doom and gloom. There are also so amazing things that are happening here in the country. There are so many things of sustainable living examples that are being used every single day. Just for instance, banana leaves. For me, it was phenomena, how we can replace it with the normal plastic plates. Or for instance, drinking from the copper bottle, which already has the, already purified the water a little bit and enrich the water. Or for instance, eating with our hands and not using the plastic cutlery. Those are things which you might think that, yeah, it's so normal because you live in this country. So for you, it might be very normal. For someone who is coming from outside, I see them as a really brilliant ideas. Or chewing the neem wood. Why we don't do that anymore? Because some very talented marketers told us that it's much better to brush our teeth with a plastic toothbrush and change it every couple of weeks. I realized that the scale of the issue is very big and it's global. And we no longer can isolate and think about only my own country or only about my own city or about my own community or a family. Whatever we do here locally has an impact globally. And whatever is happening globally has an impact here locally. There are people who acknowledge it. Probably you know already about Greta Thunberg. She's only 16-year-old girl from Sweden. She was just nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. She is on the strike. She convinced a lot of children around the world every Friday to be on the strike, to make the government, to make the corporations to do something about those huge global issues, about the global warming in that case. And I believe that there is a need for more people, more amazing leaders from India who would look beyond their own country, their own city, their own local communities, and would think in a global way. What is global is local. What is local is global. It's global. What do I mean by that? Let's say palm oil. We are using it daily because it's in 50% of all the things that we are using in a toothbrush, a toothpaste, in a shampoo, in samosa, in snacks, in chocolate, in a lot of different things. And where the palm oil is produced? In Indonesia and Malaysia. if palm oil is not produced in a sustainable way, it makes it what happens is that we are losing the rainforest, and rainforest is the lung of our planet. And it's not only our issue, or it's not only like, oh, it's an issue of those people in Indonesia and Malaysia. No, it's their local communities, it's their people around the whole region because of the haze. The moment when they start clearing the land for the new palms, they burn the forests, orangutans and other biodiversity is being disturbed. But if we lose the lungs of a planet, it's gonna be warmer. And India is already a very warm country. But do we think about it when we eat that next snacks? Maybe we could start. So the challenge is big. It's definitely big. And unless we are doing what we are in love with, something that will keep us going on, continuing and continuing, because the challenges will be there on the way. Unless we are doing something that we are super passionate about and we are in love with this, it will be difficult for us to do it. And there is this myth that we need to save our planet. The planet need no saving. But we, as a human being, we do. And if we don't do anything today for globally about those issues, we are not giving chances for our next generations, for our children, our grandchildren. So do what you love. Connect your passion to find solutions for the biggest challenges of our time. Thank you.